Hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas! We are coming to you live from inside of Bat City Comic Professionals in Bradenton, Florida, to help you wind down your weekend. As always, I'm your host, Shannon, aka Small Press Shann, to get you excited about all of this week's indie and small press new releases. But of course, as always, before we can do that, if we're going to wind down our weekend, we have to have some delicious wine to do that. And since it's Christmas, we have a gift. And so we are going to be drinking this gifted wine to us. This is from our friend Kevin and his family, the Cost family, who are awesome, wonderful Bat fam members. We love them. And so Kevin brought us this. It's a Malbec. It's called Catena, and it is from Argentina, and it's like the wine is actually, the grapes are actually grown in the Andes Mountains, and so it's supposed to be like high altitude vineyard. I have no idea if that like really changes a lot, but I would imagine it's going to change a lot of the texture and flavor of the grapes. So I'm really excited to give it a try. So we're going to go. We're going to see. That is very smooth.
Yum.
Yeah, I'm like, that's really delicious.
It's a 92 point.
Right, it was voted one of the world's best wines world's best vineyards in 2023. Number one best vineyard in the world 2023. That's crazy. Congratulations, and definitely deserved, because that's really, really smooth. And like, there's almost, I'm like, yes, I see, like I said, I wonder if there is like a difference in like the high altitude that changes the way the grapes even just like absorb moisture, because there's this almost like crisp edge to the fruit flavor, like when it's like really nice and smooth. But this is, yeah, it's literally called High Mountain Vines, and it's that's so crazy. This is great. Yeah, you said it's a 92 point wine. So many awards on this. This is great. If you're giving somebody a gift of wine, this is definitely a great gift to give. It's also another wine that's like got an award for being sustainable. So this is a great gift wine. Thank you so much to the Cost family. We're definitely going to be drinking this throughout the show as well. And I know Kevin was like, I never know what wine to give you. This is great, Kevin. You nailed it. This is fantastic. So, yeah, this is really good. I'm gonna take another drink. Oh man, I can't wait for that to open up too, because the flavors are going to be super rich and potent, because they're all, like I said, kind of like really crisp and sharp taste to them right now, but like in a smooth, buttery, like almost not buttery because that's a type of wine, but like a smooth finish. And so I really can't wait to see like how that opens up. Speaking of gifts, we did tell you that they were coming soon. We have been getting a lot of packages from some of our friends, and so I just want to showcase some of the great things we've gotten recently. And so we're going to start out with our buddy Mike White, who you may know from Robot Plus Girl, sent us a couple of things, one being another sketch, which is really cool. This was one of his Inktober sketches, which is when artists take a different sketch idea each day. And so this was his Trek sketch back in October, which is really cool. And actually what's really cool, and you probably won't be able to tell at all, is that he got a little embosser for his sketches now that say they're like authentic Mike White sketches, which is really cool.
You can see it. Oh,
you can see it? Good. I was worried you wouldn't be able to see it. So that started it off. But then we also got some stickers, and oh my god, now I'm gonna, I read this book today that came with these stickers, and so now I'm gonna open these stickers and probably geek out a lot, because I'm kind of obsessed with this story now. We've got stickers from the Melly Bean universe, which we're gonna talk about in just a second, but we've got Melly, and each of the cats, oh my gosh, I love this little cat eating his tuna. And then this little cat, there are 3 cats that live with Melly, and so we got all 3 of them, and then some unicorn stickers, and then a couple different of our monster, who I'm going to tell you about in just a second. But oh my gosh, they're so cute. Yeah, these are great stickers, and on the back of each one of these stickers, Mike actually has a QR code so that you can go directly to the Melly Bean shop and find some more stuff, which includes even more Melly Bean stickers. So Yes, so on top of the stickers, which I said, they came with the book, which I'm now obsessed with, so now I gotta tell you about the book. So we got 2 books. One is book 2, which is Melly Bean and The Wicked Wizard. And I'll tell you a little bit more about The Wicked Wizard when we talk about Volume 1. This is Volume 2. These are from Penguin, so these are Razorbill books. So if you don't know, we will definitely be carrying these in the store now because, oh my god, because there's a nice note from Mike, but you guys don't need to see the note, because I read Melly Bean and the Giant Monster, which is number 1, and it is actually a Nutmeg Award winner, and this is the cutest. So Melly is the puppy, and Melly loves to play games, but the only game the cats that Melly lives with ever want to play is nap. That's their favorite game, just nap. And so Melly is like worried because like nobody wants to have fun with them, and so the cats trick Melly into playing Hide the Shoe, which is a game that you're not allowed to play in the house. And I'm going to actually open it up so you can see some cuteness here. And so Melly goes out to play Hide the Shoe, which they say will totally be fine, and the humans will not get mad. And while digging a hole, Melly finds out that the hole actually goes far, far, far further than she ever anticipated, and she ends up in a magical world that has a giant monster there. And the monster's name is Nara. And all of the human adults in this place have been hunting down Nara, trying to get him out because he's a monster. But it turns out that the king is just selfish and greedy. And so the kids of the town and Melly have to kind of come up with a way for Nara, the monster, to take on the king. And Melly's great gaming skills come in big handy for this. This is the cutest book. Oh my gosh, like we're always like Robot and Girl is the cutest book on the shelves, and now I have to take that back because it turns out that like the only person that like could trump Mike White's talent for most adorable book on the shelf would in fact be Mike White. It's so good. It's got so many cute lessons. It's got dogs, it's got cats, it's got monsters, it's got wizards, a wizard who actually stole all of Nara's powers, and he's been looking for them back. There's so many things that you can talk to kids about. So many great things that you as an adult can find hilarious. I personally kind of want to like take on the king myself because he's a terrible human, and a reminder that sometimes people in power don't know what they're doing with it and are greedy. And so yes, this book, absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Mike, for sending it to me, because again now, I'm just obsessed with Melly and the cats. And the cats' names, I gotta get the cats' names for you because they're so cute. And I know one of them is Butternut, and then there is, I think she names all of them, and maybe not. I thought it was gonna be close to the beginning. I think that they are in here somewhere, but I don't remember. I know Butternut is one of them, and Butternut's kind of the one. But yes, if you haven't checked it out, please grab these books. Again, they're Penguin Kid books, so they're from the Penguin Razorbill line, and they're perfect for young readers who, need something cute and adorable and funny and a big adventure. So we've got some more gifts. A friend of the show, Shannon Vokes, also sent us something. This is Sleep Runners, and this is the Dare to Dream collection. And there are only 100 boxes of this in existence, and this is number 4 of 100. I'm really excited that we have one. It's actually got, we'll show you like the cool label with the number, the limited edition. But there inside of here is a couple of really cool things. One, again, we also got some stickers from Shannon, which is cool. And then there is actually all 9 issues of this series. And so I'm going to just, I guess I'll just hold them up. There are 9 books in the Sleep Runner series, and you have to check this series out. And Shannon, if you're watching, if you can drop a link into where people can find it. I believe it's mostly available through Shannon directly right now. But it's such an interesting concept, and I'm so excited about the art. I'm going to slide the box over. I'm so excited about the story and where it's going to go, because I'm just going to show you a little bit. But basically, this is the story of, there's a college professor who developed a whole like Inception style dream world, And you can go into this world, and in this world you can kind of do anything and everything you want. And while he's done that, like, it was supposed to be used for, like, some very, like, nefarious stuff with the government, and so the project got canceled, and now he's just working in, like, witness protection as a professor, and he's taken some kids, some of his college students into this world, and is teaching them all of the stuff that they can do. Well, the bad guys also got a hold of this, and they have gone after the vice president. And now they're trying to figure out how to get a hold of this professor so that they can take the plans even further. And so these kids who are just trying to have like this utopia kind of experience with their professor find themselves actually essentially having to become superheroes in this imaginary like dream world. And so it's kind of like Inception meets, you know, some kind of like Young Avengers kind of series almost, which is a really great concept. And again, are these kids going to be able to figure it out? Plus you all have all of the relationship dynamics, like our two biggest like main characters kind of are two roommates, and they've been best friends since high school, and one of them is in love with a girl that kind of seems to like one of the other one. And so, it's what it is. It's like Radiant Black meets Inception is really like the perfect combination. So if you're a fan of Kyle Higgins' Radiant Black world, you're really going to get that, because you have that same dynamic between the two main Radiants in Radiant Black, between these two best friends, but you're also getting all these other characters as they're learning what their powers could be that they're developing. But then you have all of these adults who had like Cal in a mysterious program that existed before. So you get a very strong like Radiant Black feel, but it's all in a dream world. So definitely check it out if you can. We'll make sure like to post in like comments and stuff Shannon's information so you can find it. But again, a great series, and thank you, Shannon, for sending that whole series to us. I did not read how it ended yet because I don't want to tell you. I didn't want to accidentally spoil it. So I have to read the ending of the series so that I know now that I know that I won't spoil it for you on the show. And then lastly, we did get a present from our buddies at Comicsburg, and I have no idea what this is because I haven't opened it yet, but shout out to Marvin for sending it. And all I did was I cut the side open. Oh my gosh, this is like original art.
Oh, what?
Like an actual, like, whoa, like this is fan-freaking-tastic. I don't know if there's a note in here or anything. Nope, it's just that. Oh my gosh, Marvin, what a freaking cool gift. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. This is from The Edge, which is which is Comicsburg's superhero series. And oh man, that is awesome. Thank you. We're going to have to put this up. We're going to get a frame for it. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, put it next to our action figure.
Absolutely.
Also from The Edge, which is so cool. Yes, thank you. And I know Marvin was worried that this didn't make it, so I'm happy to report that it did, and it's freaking dope. So thank you.
That's so super cool.
I know. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna pass that over here as well. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for all of those incredible gifts. And there's been a lot of other stuff, amazing stuff coming in from people here in the shop and everything. And so we really appreciate that. And speaking, I'm gonna take another drink more time of this wine before I get started on the books of the week. All right. I feel like every Sunday is Christmas because I get to read a ton of amazing books, and this is no exception. So we're going to kick it off with a book that won a lot of awards for my personal award show, the Batastic Awards last year, The Sacrificers, and this is issue 13 from Image Comics and The Giant Generator, which is Rick Remender's imprint. And I have said it every time this book has been on the live stream, and I will continue to say it. This is by far and away, my favorite thing Rick Remender has ever done. This is about a world where the gods need the blood of their people, essentially, to continue to stay young and ruling over them. And so they have people raise, essentially, one of their children just to be a sacrifice. And so we follow Pigeon, who never got a name because his family chose him as a sacrifice, and he was raised in the barn so that nobody got attached to him. And he, in the very first couple issues, went out and was supposed to be a sacrifice. And in the process found out that, like, it's literally you're dying. Like, you don't get to, like, you're not going into work for the service of these people. They are taking you and they are stealing, killing you. And that's not what they've been told. They've been told they're going to work for the gods. And so after his friend is killed, he goes on, he kind of gets this power to go and fight against all of the evil that the gods have done. He's kind of trying to bring down the system, and he's going god by god, challenging them. And so in this issue, the god that he comes to swears that he's the god of the people and that he is, you know, always on their side and everything. And he's like, you're not on their side. You're just as bad as the rest of them. You're not doing anything to actually help them. And so he challenges him, and he's like, look, if you really want to be a god of the people, here's your chance. Like, come to war with me against the other gods. And it kind of leaves us on this, like, is he going to make that decision? Like, is there really a leader who can be on the side of their people, or is it just something they say to maintain their power over the people? Fantastic issue. The art is always wicked cool in these books. If you've not read Sacrificers, grab volume 1. It's in trade paperback, and jump in and then like catch up, because you want to read this book. It is so good. And I think if we don't hear Eisner buzz for this book this year, I'm going to be, like, insanely shocked, because it is phenomenally done. Epitaphs from the Abyss, issue 6, from Oni Press, and their return of EC Comics. And this is, of course, their horror anthology that they have going on right now. And we've got 3 stories in this one, a couple from some of our big-name creators like Matthew Rosenberg and Tim Seeley. The first story is actually a Matthew Rosenberg story about a guy who thinks that he's above all of the other people in the world, and is just really rude to them. And every day, an unhoused person on the street tells him, you know, how's it going? How was your day? And he just keeps ignoring him. And so this, like, spirit essentially comes out of this man and follows him and reminds him that no matter how bad you think your day was, it can always get a little worse, and maybe you should be nice to people before it's too late. And then the second story in here is fantastic. It is Tim Seeley doing a story called Writer's Block about a guy who had one really great book, and now, in order to write all of his other ones and keep his ideas fresh, he's actually kidnapping people off the street and forcing them to give him their ideas. And if he doesn't like their ideas, or once they've given him everything he needs to create a book, he just gets rid of them in whatever way that works for him. And the way that it all turns out at the end is just kind of a perfect EC horror ending. And then lastly is a story called Triggers, and it is about a bunch of people who go to a gun convention and are convinced that everybody needs to have guns in their home to be safe, only to find out that a zombie apocalypse is breaking out and coming towards the convention center, and how they handle that is quite an interesting turn of events for another perfect EC ending. This is, if you're not reading it, I think you're missing out, and I would say that the internet agrees with me, because the return of the EC comics and this specific title have made it onto already like 4 or 5 of the best comics of the year list. So you need to be grabbing these EC comics, and especially Epitaphs from the Abyss if you want it. And I'm going to hand you that, because you need to read that last story for sure. All right, we've got the wrap-up of Paranoid Gardens, issue 6 from Dark Horse, and Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. It has been a big return time period for Gerard Way, bringing back both MCR and his comic career. But this has been something that I had no idea where this book was going in the beginning, and somehow it's been the strangest, most beautiful thing. It is all about a asylum type place where people come to get help for all of their different situations that are going on, and it seems to be run by an alien type woman, and we've been following along as one girl in the community who is a patient seems to also have the ability to heal people just by being around them. One of the psychiatrists who decides that he is all about money kind of sells out everybody at the institution in the gardens to this rich cult of people, and they have come and tried to steal everything away, and they have in the process destroyed the gardens and the magic it has to heal people. And in this issue, we kind of see where the background of the healing power of the gardens has come from, and also the only ways that we can restore it before it's too late, and who's capable of doing that. You definitely need to check it out if you're a fan of any of Gerard Way's other comics, because it does have all of those like weird, cool, off-the-wall concepts that come together to make a really great story. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue 5 from IDW. I am so excited to just be up to date on Ninja Turtles. It's so great. Like the other series, the previous run ran for so long, and I never got like the grounding to catch up. So I'm so happy that I'm on. But if you haven't jumped into Jason Aaron's Ninja Turtles run, the first 4 issues kind of showed us where each of the turtles were after kind of a lot of the fallout of things that have been going on in the Ninja Turtles world, and the fact that the brothers are not together and they're very angry with each other and about some, loss that they've had in their lives. Meanwhile, like the Mutant City and all the mutanimals of the area have just been being treated really poorly by the government. And this issue, I really love the twist that Jason Aaron did, because instead of being told from any of the point of views of the turtles, it is actually told from the point of view of the person, the mayor of the city, and who has become this person who just is completely and totally prejudiced against the mutants. And we see his backstory on how he got there, but we also see what he uses to rise to power and how the corruption really comes into play for him, and how he's using that against the animals and the just the people in general. And we don't even see the turtles in this issue. We do get to see Casey Jones. This is kind of like supposed to be our where Casey Jones is, but telling it from the point of view of this corrupt politician on as to why. It almost feels like watching Batman Returns and seeing like that whole journey of Oswald Cobblepot that you see in that. You kind of feel that in here. With an almost even more sinister vibe. So, I mean, if you liked that movie, you're definitely going to like where this issue goes, for sure. Stand Still, issue 5 from Image Comics. This is one of our time-traveling adventures going on right now in the indie comics world. And such a great way that they're doing it. So this story, if you haven't started it, is about a man who had a very terrible situation happen with his family and decided to take matters into his own hands by stealing a time-traveling device and using it to go back in time and throughout space and time to essentially find the people who he feels are responsible for the things that happened to his family. Well, meanwhile, the guy that actually invented the time travel has figured out what's going on and is like, I have to stop this guy because I'm the only one that understands how he's traveling through time, and it seems like he's just murdering people, and I gotta make it stop. So over the course of the last few issues, him and his science partner have been actually developing a way to build another rudimentary version of their time-traveling device so that they're able to do it. But the problem is that they can't control theirs. It can only be used when the other guy controls his. And so once he stops time and changes it, they kind of end up in the space that he's in. And he's kind of figured out that that's what's going on. And so we got this little time-traveling war going on right now between two people. But, there's no real control over it and where it's going to end up. And, of course, the government is coming for all of them somehow, and somebody's got to figure it out. We got a little taste of what the future could possibly look like at the beginning of this issue. So much so that I was like, did I miss an issue? No, I did not. We just jumped into the future and then had to work our way back. But it's such a great concept for a time travel story. The Power Fantasy, issue 5 from Image Comics. And this is Kieran Gillen, the creator of Wicked and Divine. This is him doing a very similar thing that he did with those Zodiac Gods, with the concept of superheroes in general, with Casper Wingard on art, which just makes for some really cool visuals. But with Power Fantasy, we kind of are following these like main superheroes. I think there's like 8 of them, 9, maybe a little bit more, that have these really unique different powers, and each issue we're kind of seeing a little bit of something different from them, and how they all connect to this guy Etienne, who is kind of your Professor Xavier, but with the ethics of like, my job is to kind of keep everybody from doing what I don't want them to do, and from doing corrupt things, and having like an overarching, like, I am the ethics of the world. Well, in this issue, we're seeing yet another one of the superheroes from his point of view, and learning how his powers come from magic, and it's a magic that came from the superheroes coming to the world. And he uses the magic to create a cult, And he's very happy to call it that. And he's like, I'm training people. I'm making a cult, but I'm training people to use this magic and to be prepared so that people don't just find the magic themselves and misuse it. But we do see how that does happen as well through this. And meanwhile, all together, it's like, we can't continue to let this guy who thinks he's got the ethics of the world go unchecked. Like, who are we to not check him? But then, like, who is he to check us? So many conversations going on in this about just, like, what is a superhero, but, like, who watches the Watchmen, kind of essentially, like, thought process, from all kinds of different angles of very different, like, nobody is essentially morally good in this story. And so it's like, if superheroes are kind of just in their own headspace and feel like their power is their own, like, but power fantasy, you know, they all want the fantasy of being the ultimate power. Like, what does that do? All right, we've got Armored issue 5, and this is from Clover Press, who needs to do more single issue comics, because every time they do, I love them, and they just don't put out enough single issues. They put out some of the most beautiful graphic novels, but more single issues, please, because they're so fantastic. This one, Armored, is about a young boy who is adopted by a family that has lost their son. And when he comes to live with them, he finds out that there's like this old castle ruin situation, and he goes out to it and ends up falling into a place where he is given the power of this like ghostly knight who comes to him and is like, hey, like, I can give you the power to protect yourself and people from all this evil that's coming. And by the way, there's evil coming, and you have to stop it. And he's like, okay. And so the kid trains. Anyway, the evil obviously awakens. Bad things are happening. And the town is led to believe that the son, the original son, is back. And he is controlling all of them with this like dark, mysterious power, mind control. There's an evil book. We've got to stop it. And of course, our young boy is the only one that can do just that. And it's a really cute story of adoption and coming to like find the parents that, you know, take you in and love you and the experience that you have with them. But it's also just a fun, like, fantasy, like, horror kind of mashup as well. This is going to be, I believe, the end of volume 1. It looks like we might see some more of this because we get a nice little cliffhanger, and I hope that we do because I love this story so much, and I think that more people should be picking it up because it's really well done. Blood Squad 7, issue 5 from Image. There's a thing right now, especially at Image, where we're like, hey, what if superheroes now, like, had to kind of clean up the mess of superheroes 30 years ago? Because we've hit 30 years of Image having superheroes. So we're looking at, hey, here's all the kind of characters we created 30 years ago. They'd be a little problematic now. What if we clean that up? And that's what Blood Squad 7 really is we've got a group of superheroes from 30 years ago kind of just turned into celebrityness, and a new team is being created that's kind of supposed to be exactly the same thing. Like, let's bring in the younger generation, including the daughter of one of the original heroes, and let's make them kind of do this as something that the government controls. Like, you're not a superhero team on your own, you're a government-led entity. And this is not working well. Like, the press that's coming with this is a mess. The heroes of the past have so much PTSD that it's starting to really plague the heroes of the future. The new heroes can't get along with each other. This is a completely fractured group of people on both ends of the situation, and nothing that they're doing seems to go well, and we're going to see if they can ever get it together, because right now it does not look like they will. And we're 5 issues in, and these people still can't get it together. The Moon is Following Us, issue 4 from Image Comics and Daniel Warren Johnson. If you are a fan of Transformers right now and you're looking for more things Daniel Warren Johnson has done, he has another series going on with Riley Rossmo on art, which makes a really cool team. But this is all about a little girl who is in a coma, and she can't wake up, and her parents are trying to figure out anything and everything that they could possibly do, and a man comes to them and basically says, you're going to have to go into your daughter's sleep, imagination and fight her way out of it for her, because she's trapped in there, and if you don't, she's just going to die in this coma, essentially. And so you've got to do something to save her. And so these parents, who are very much at odds with each other, like just cannot get on the same page, have found a way to enter into the dream world that their daughter is trapped in, and are constantly attempting to fight these battles. And the more they give of themselves, the further it pulls them apart in their relationship, because they just don't want to go about this saving of their child in the same way. And things seem every once in a while like we just thought maybe we had a hold on her, maybe we were going to get to save this kid, and some really like twisted dark things just like take her away from us. And so we're looking for new ways every issue, and I hope that these parents can just kind of stay together, because it doesn't seem like they're going to make it themselves, nonetheless be able to save their child. Vengeance is for the Living, issue 4. This is from Floating World Comics, I believe. Yes. It's so tiny, yeah. This is the wrap-up of Vengeance is for the Living, and it is a square bound. It is such a big book. If you didn't read this book yet, you have to. Vengeance is for the Living is all about a woman who, her family, like her husband gets wrapped up in some messed up drug deals, and she ends up, people end up coming after him, and they take out her kids and attempt to take her out and him out as well. She wakes up at the beginning of issue 1 in the hospital, and has learned that, as far as she knows, her husband and her children are dead. And so she is determined to take them all, like go after everybody. And so she teams up with her sister, who is a military operative, and they go out on a vengeance quest, and it gets bloody and violent and vicious. And over the course of the series, we learn there's a lot more that's kind of like gone into what she like has experienced and what she didn't know about. What I like about this 4th issue is it kind of gives you a complete recap of everything, because it has been quite a bit since we had the last issue. But it also gives you like the rest of the story, and so it's almost like a little mini trade of the whole thing, which I do hope that they actually do, because just seeing these two women just going after this entire like drug dealing mob family has just been a fantastically fun adventure. We don't get enough women vengeance movies that and comics and things like that, so it's nice to see one. And again, just a complete square bound size book for you. The Tin Can Society, issue 4 from Image. You'll see there's a lot of Image and stuff this week, because we didn't get our diamond, so we don't have our, any Distillery Boom or Dynamite, but we've got all of our other buddies.
And no one got diamond.
And
right?
nobody got diamond for the most part. Yeah, I think some people might have gotten it towards the end of the week, but it's still really inconsistent on the arrival of that while they change out their warehouses. If you haven't read Tin Can Society, this is about a group of friends who were kind of all the outcasts in school, and they grew up and kind of separated, and one of them became the biggest inventor of the world. And not only did he invent different technology to keep people who were differently abled, more able to function in the corporate America society that doesn't cater to them, and create other kinds of cures for diseases and stuff, but he also created a superhero robot Iron Man kind of suit for himself. Well, he's been murdered, and they've all come back together, and they're trying to figure out what exactly happened. And as they're sitting here talking about enemies that they may have, somebody mentions that, I think he accidentally killed somebody one time while he was superheroing. And one of the other friends in the group is like, that's not what happened. And so we get this whole backstory of a situation of him possibly, going after a guy and accidentally killing him, and what the truth behind that actually was. And we see maybe that does lead to some villain possibilities, but it also teaches us a lot more about some intricacies in this friends group and the dangers that they've put each other in over the course of the time. The pieces that we get for this are so big and yet so small every issue that you have no idea as a reader where this is going and who is possibly responsible. You still don't know who you can trust. Every issue is narrated by a different member of the friends group. so you don't know who your reliable narrators are versus like your liars. It's such a good way to do it. Also, a giant generator book, also on Rick Remender's line, imprint at Image, but so well done, and you guys got to check it out, especially if you like piecing together puzzles. Mask Matcha, this is issue 4 of what would have been 4 from Dark Horse, but they do kind of tell us there's got to be more to this story, so we might get another volume, fingers crossed. I'm hoping so. But this is all about a guy in old Hollywood who really just wants to be famous, but he's not good. He's not a good actor. He's not a good person. He's just got nothing going for him. And in issue 1, his car breaks down on the way to an audition outside of a wrestling arena. And they're like, hey, we need you to come in here and play this character for us. And he does, and he becomes a big success, and he kind of builds out a different world for everybody involved that they didn't want. Especially the owner of the arena, who's an old lady who seems to have some things up her sleeve that are a little dastardly, to say the least. In this issue, he's taken on a role where he's gonna be a hired escort for a rich woman, and he thinks that's gonna help him leave the wrestling world behind, but that, the woman in charge has her own plans in mind, and things don't ever necessarily go the way they want. Again, it was supposed to wrap up in this issue. We are not getting a wrap up. You get nothing. No wrap up. You just get to wait with the rest of us to see what happens, and definitely there should be some more, because our fantastic narrator has yet to give us anything. And if you don't know, the narrator is a bear that talks, and he's awesome, and he's a wrestler too, and so you just gotta read this book. It's great. We've got Barfly, issue 4 from Dark Horse and Minor Threats, and this is the wrap-up of Barfly's story, which, we just got a new Minor Threats, mini, so usually they kind of wrap up right when the other one begins. But this is Kyle Starks playing in the world that Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum have created, about villains who are, the minor level villains of this superhero universe. And in Minor Threats, when all the villains were captured, a lot of their sidekicks were just kind of left abandoned, and one would be Barfly, who is kind of an anthropomorphic fly who is a lackey, and he just kind of wants to play punk rock music and live his life working in a bar and hanging out with his friends. And now in this little mini series for him, his former master has come back and is expecting him to just kind of pick up the lackey duties, and it's not working for Barfly. It's not what he wants to do, and so he has to kind of figure out who he wants to be and how he wants that experience to work out for him, and we get to see him do just that in this issue, and the path that he chooses to go down. If you've never read Minor Threats, it doesn't matter. You can completely jump in and read this hilariously fun adventure about this punk rock fly. But if you find yourself liking it, you should go back and get the trades for Minor Threats and check out that universe. Null Hunter, issue 3 from Image. This is essentially what if you made a cyberpunk, futuristic version of the Hercules story. And so we've got a man who has lost everything, and is given the power by the gods of this world to go out and complete certain tasks for them. And if he completes these tasks, maybe his family will be brought back to him, and maybe he'll be able to live his best life. And in this issue, he's supposed to be chasing down this specific woman, and she is hiding inside of other people's perfect moments. There's a bar that he can go to, and you can kind of pay to go into these VR worlds and live your best moment. And she's kind of just hanging out in these places, and so he has to kind of jump through these memories of other people, some of them, which like this one, are not good for him because they're kind of triggering because it takes him back to the war. But he is having to figure out how to chase this woman down and capture her in order to bring her back to the gods. And at the same time, she's like, do you even know who you're working for? Like, do you know whether or not they're really going to be there for you or if this is what you want? And so he's kind of got that, yes, I lost my family, but are the gods really the people that they say they are situation going on, as we see much in any Greek mythology story. Really interesting way to look at it. If you liked Frankenstein, the recent Frankenstein from the Universal Monsters, Michael Walsh is doing this as well. So it's another him kind of taking a retelling and changing it up a little bit. Seance in the Asylum, issue 3 from Dark Horse. Man, this book has gone darker than I thought it was going to in some wild ways, which is really cool. This is about a woman who has always said that she was a medium, and she hosts all these seances and does all these incredible parlor tricks, essentially, because we learn throughout the series that she has never actually been telling the truth about her seances and where they are, but she is brought into an asylum to help the patients, and they think like doing these, seances and talking to their loved ones will help them, even though they know she's faking it, but they're like, that'll help them, and they'll feel like they got it. Well, it turns out that the one time she's not faking it is the one time that she's trapped in an asylum with a bunch of people who have some really dark, crazy stories, and now this evil entity is coming out and trying to find its way home through these people in this asylum and through her. And she is being treated like she's the crazy person now by all of the people in control because they know more than they are letting on, and they want to make her feel like she is the problem. Really cool, wicked story. So if you just want, a fun little dark adventure down some ghostly ways, that's the one. Exit City, issue 2 from Mad Cave. This is part of the Underworld, which is the new thing that Mark London, the founder of Mad Cave, is working on. So this is a book that he's actually writing as a part of that, and so it's really cool concepts. This is Exit City is basically like off the coast of California. It's a place where a bunch of people who didn't want to be a part of what was happening in this world went out to live, and there's a lot of mystery and intrigue and bad rulings going on because they have no real authority. But we've got a detective here, and he's got a new partner that's come in, and he's like, oh, you're a corrupt cop. I know it. All cops in Exit City are corrupt. I don't really want to work with you. But they are trying to figure out some investigations. Well, it turns out, her, underhanded deeds are actually to make, the best of the situation. She's not really trying to make money or anything off of it. She's actually trying to help people. But meanwhile, he has this weird thing where he's got these little vials that are in his pocket, and each one is a representation of a person, and he has conversations with them, and that's kind of how he solves the crimes, is these ghostly things inside these vials help him. And I'm not going to tell you necessarily what they are. But as he's going through this investigation, he's of course opening up things he shouldn't be, and bad stuff is going to start happening, and he's going to have to learn to trust this partner a little bit more, maybe, in order to survive. Big things happen towards the end of this issue, so I don't want to show you too much more, but again, we've got a lot of great detective stories going on, and this all-encompassing little underworld that is being built at Mad Cave, it actually goes through Revolution 9, Hour of the Wolf, and Exit City, and you can kind of see there's a little calendar. You don't have to read all of them. They actually have zero crossover experience to them right now, but maybe there's going to be something that connects them as we get further into it. Flash Gordon Quarterly. This is issue 2 because it's quarterly. Also from Mad Cave, and this is just some little side stories in our Flash Gordon universe that the Flash Gordon story at Mad Cave, needs to add to it. So there is one story that will probably come to help us out with some, what's going on, where we get to talk about the the heart of Aboria, which is a world based on trees, and we see some people who are coming in who are trying to destroy those trees, and the heart and the people who have never wanted to partner with the 8 people of that world have to learn that if the only way to survive against outside forces that are evil and doing bad things to you is to possibly team up with the people that you should have been teaming up and working together with all along. And so we get that story, and then we flip and we get a second story that is actually all about Dale. And if you're reading the Flash Gordon story, you know we know that Dale is excuse me, Flash Gordon's love interest, and she hasn't been around in the story in the typical form of like her human self, and we actually figure out why that is in this story, and we get to see how that happened, and maybe a little bit more about where Dale actually is, and piecing that together, which is something like Defenders of the Earth, I guess, really has focused on more than the Flash Gordon story. And so kind of just connecting all of that. And then we do get to see another story of Dale just working and kind of how she got connected with Flash Gordon a little bit in the earlier days. And so obviously Dale's going to come into play a big role because she is helping them in Defenders of the Earth in a secret way. And then, she's been mentioned a couple times as captured, possibly dead in Flash Gordon. And so we know this is going to be key to whatever we need to know going forward in the Flash Gordon world. G.I. Joe issue 2 from Image and your Skybound imprint and your Energon universe. This is, connecting that Transformers G.I. Joe world that we've been seeing. This is actually bringing all your G.I. Joe miniseries together. So, we've had Deathstroke, we've had Cobra, Commander, we've had Scarlet. We had Duke. This is bringing all of that together because now Duke and Baroness, who got together in the Duke series as a team, are actually back with the government and trying to figure out how to stop Cobra and Deathstroke and the Mars people from getting their hands on all of the Energon, which is, of course, the Transformers energy, which Cobra wants to not only use to make weapons with Deathstroke, but we know, if you've been reading the whole series, you know that Cobra has his hands on a very important Decepticon who needs some Energon to get revitalized, and we're hoping that, he's hoping that this is going to be the way that he's going to do just that. We get appearances of some more characters, and here we actually get to see Cobra's Valkyries, which are an elite squad of women that work for Cobra, who just come in and kind of just clean a house. They are vicious, and we see how this is all kind of coming together. This Transformers is still kind of running parallel, not necessarily connected to, and this is kind of the bridge that's going between all of the books and putting it all together right here. So if you're a fan of Energon, you need to grab that book. All right, we've got Lilith issue 2 from Vault. It's been a minute since the first one came out, and this is such a good book. It's fantastic. You guys gotta jump into it for sure. I kind of love it so much. But this is about Lilith, possibly the mother of demons, but she's very succubus-esque, and she is doing her best to just, kill people and live her best life and kind of run the world. She's got her like cam life. She's a model and doing different things, and she always goes after all of the really seedy people. Well, at the end of issue 1, she runs into this girl who kind of saves her, who owns a bookstore, and it's got like all those like occult books, and in it is actually a book that Lilith needs. It is the book that is going to help her get back to her home world where she was banished from. And Lilith's problem is that when they banished her, they took away all of her big magic and also her ability to actually speak the language of her people, and so she needs somebody to read the book for her. Well, it turns out that our adorable, awkward, nerdy bookstore owner knows actually how to read the book, and so Lilith who cannot stand this girl and how wholesome she is going to have to actually befriend her to some extent and let her help her read this book and teach her how to read it so that she can get home. Meanwhile, our adorable girl has made some terrible decisions in her reading, and who knows what she's unleashed, but there are some bad things to come, and it's going to be beautifully hot and wonderful all while it happens, because this is such a spicy, awesome book at the same time. I love it. It was almost my pick of the week, but then I decided to go with a little bit of Christmas fun instead, because that was, it's going to be there every time. And I thought, Christmas comes just once a year. Lilith, you're going to be there probably every time you come out. Sweet Paprika, open for business, issue 2 from Image Comics. This is actually Steve Orlando writing a story in Mirka and Dolfo's Sweet Paprika world. So it is not about Paprika. It is about Aubrey Jean, who is Paprika's assistant, and he is making it difficult to show you pages. If you've read Sweet Paprika, you know that that's true. It's a very mature book. But he is Paprika's assistant, and he has, much like Paprika, just put himself way too dedicated into the job that he has. And he's got a boyfriend who wants to have an open relationship, but he's not sure he's able to handle that, except now he's the one that's being super open and also being underhandedly sneaky, because he's not telling his boyfriend that he's texting other boys in private, and it's causing a lot of rifts in their relationship, as is the fact that Aubrey is working too hard for the client that he has taken on, the first time he's ever been given a client of his own by Miss Paprika to work as an editor, and he has the worst client. This man is terrible. But so Aubrey is doing a bad job of communicating with his boyfriend. He's keeping himself mixed up with another man who he needs to stop. He needs to just stop and put his relationship back in order before it gets all messed up and out of proportion. He just needs to figure out what he wants. It's stressing me out. But it's also, I'm like, I want you to just be happy and just have this cute story, because it's going to be cute, because Paprika always ends cute. So I know it's going to end fine, and he's going to come to terms with whoever he's supposed to be, and it's going to be beautiful and wonderful. But you're stressing me out right now, Aubrey. Get your work life together. Get your relationship life together. And let's live happily ever after in our cute rom-com world, okay? Let's just make that happen, because I want it to. It's so good. If you like very adult romantic comedies, anything in the Sweet Paprika world is going to be perfect for you. But I mean very adult. There are angels, there's demons, and there's lots of sex. So, adult. Speaking of fantastic books that everybody should be reading, though, Godzilla's Monster Piece Theater issue 2 is out from IDW. This is, what if you took Godzilla and you had every public domain character come in and be the people that fought against him? So in issue 1, we learned that the Great Gatsby, Jay himself, and his love for Daisy and his hatred for Tom, have come together to deal with a monster of a different kind, because Godzilla is coming in, and Jay, being the former military man that he is, he knows how to fight this monster. Well, now he is needing of help to fight this situation, and so he is teamed up with one Sherlock Holmes, the time machinist, who will not tell anybody his real name, Watson, who is actually Sherlock Holmes' niece, and Jules Verne. And he's like, I don't know if this man is a writer or a character, but he is kind of both. And so they're trying to deal with an underwater situation that's put them all in a submarine, including Daisy and Tom, who have decided to go with them. Daisy giving herself a little bit of agency for the first time in any Gatsby story in this, as they go to figure out what is going on with Godzilla, how they can stop him, if they can stop him, and like where he's coming from, and what is actually happening. And you got this amazing Tom Scioli art that it just makes it so much fun. And you get all of the like different, public domain characters, like personalities and different problems that they face in the story normally. But it's just ridiculous perfection. I mean, honestly and truthfully, it's just so wonderful. If you're not reading it and you need something to make your world a better place, this is definitely going to be a fun adventure that you should never take seriously, but you should always enjoy. Thank you, IDW, for bringing us this greatness. We've got Borderlands, Moxie's Mysterious Memento, issue 2 of 4 from Dark Horse. If you didn't know, Dark Horse has the rights to Borderlands, the video game, and they have been putting out comics recently. We just had a Tiny Tina miniseries. Now we're on a Moxie miniseries. And they're fun ventures, even if you don't know the world of Borderlands, but if you do, it's great because you get to see all of your favorite characters. In this, Moxie has sent us on an adventure looking for a memento, which is actually more of a person than a thing that she's looking for. And of course, she's sent us into the most dangerous place that we could possibly go into, with a team that doesn't necessarily work well together. In this, we get to see Lore come in from the game. We are working with a siren who is hopefully going to use their magic to find all of the things that we need before it is too late. But we have we lose some ground in this issue. We're definitely come up against some bad guys who are hunting us down and are going to stop us from our journey, and we might lose some friends by the end of this issue. We're left on some cliffhangers to figure it out. But if you're a fan of Borderlands and you've been looking for more, these comics are definitely a way to give you just some more adventures in that world. We've got Arcbound issue 2 from Dark Horse. This is an all-star lineup of Tom Hardy, yes, Venom himself, creating the characters and doing like all of the like storyboarding essentially, and then it's written by both Scott Snyder and Frank Thierry. So a big thing going on here. But we are basically in a futuristic world where, you know, the government's corrupt and things like that. And so people can be, like, essentially if something happens to you, can be put into what they call an ARC, which is a cybernetic body, which our main character has just had his first experience with. He's always been on the side of the government. He's kind of one of their big, you know, assets that they send out to places. But he started questioning it too much. And so they put a hit on him and he was taken out. And now a different group has rescued him and put him into this arc, and he's kind of learning the truth about the society that he's in. Well, the government's mad because he didn't bring the body back, and they're like, you didn't bring a body back. Hello, we live in a world where you can put somebody, if their head still exists and their brain is still intact, you can put them into an arc. He could still be out there. He could be coming for us right now. And they're like, oh, my bad. And so they have to go out and try to find his body, so they hire a bounty hunter who looks like she's going to be super freaking cool, even if she, you know, may be on the wrong side of things. I don't know, because she is a bounty hunter, and we don't trust the, you know, the leadership here. Big world, definitely a lot coming on. We're going to see where this goes. Again, all-star lineup of people kind of coming up with this concept, so let's see what happens. All right, we've got a title I can't say on the live stream, so we've got, we'll just say MFing Monsters from Image. This is issue 1, and it is part of the Horizon Experiment. So the Horizon Experiment, if you don't know, is a bunch of creators got together and were like, hey, we're kind of tired of not having any media that represents our voices. You know, like we wanted a Constantine who was a woman of color. We wanted an Asian James Bond. We wanted to see different kinds of things. And so this one is, what if you made an Evil Dead kind of story, but for Black nerds? And so it is called the Blurred, like, Evil Dead experience out of this. And it is so hilarious and so well done. And so it is all about a boy who goes to college in a extremely, like, rich, like, white, like, very just snobby kind of place. And on that campus there is a fraternity that has parties and invites people of color to come, and those people of color never leave that party. and something is happening that is very dark and scary. And so he has no idea that any of this is going on. And when his cousin and his cousin's girlfriend and the cousin's girlfriend's roommate all come to visit him, he's like, hey, let me show you, like, these people aren't so bad. Look, we were invited to a party. And they go to the party, and there are monsters. And they're like, hey, they're doing some bad stuff. They're totally, like, coming after us and, like, get to have some, visions of what could happen. And it is fantastic. I cannot wait to see how this goes. Seriously, if you're a fan of Evil Dead, or any of the like comedy, like horror movie kind of things like that, you're gonna love this one. I think they nail it with a mix of giggles and gore. The characters are fantastic. I love that this is called The Satanically Possessed Comic Book Love Child of Jordan Peele and Sam Raimi. That is a better description than I could ever give you for this comic. This comic is definitely the satanically possessed comic book love child of Jordan Peele and Sam Raimi. That is perfect way to describe that. This actually does say to be continued. Most of the Horizon Experiment books have been one-shots that's like, oh, maybe we'll see more come. This creator just flat out said, to be continued. This is going to keep going. I'm really excited to see where it goes. And I want to actually get you the creator's name, because I want you to know, because they did such a great job. Jay Holtham is the writer, and then Michael Lee Harris is the artist. So fantastic, and it's so good. You guys got to check it out. It's so funny, and it's so much to say at the same time, which makes it even better. And then last new book of the week before we get to picks is Freddy the Fix. This is a one-shot from Image and the Ninth Circle imprint, which I don't know who's in charge of that just yet. But this is Garth Ennis on this book, and this is, they even say that this is like his title, like, is like Preacher, or the titles that they use for him is Preacher and the Boys, and that totally 100 makes sense for this story. This is about a guy named Freddy who works in Hollywood, and basically all the monsters of the world are a part of it. Werewolves, vampires, the creature from the Black Lagoon kind of monsters. And his job is he gets called in by the studio to basically get the actors, the monsters, out of trouble. And these are like the people who play the monsters in movies. Like, they're not fake, they're like actually monsters. And so he's always having to do that. Well, it turns out that the boogeyman, who is a completely vile and terrible person and deserves to die in this story, has died. And they need him to figure out what happened and kind of cover it up before it gets too late. And so Freddy is going on an investigation through all of this. But as he discovers more and more, he learns that it's definitely something going on in Hollywood that even he can't possibly fix. It's really cool to see all of this. It is high adult humor. Like, there's a lot of kind of crass jokes that you would expect from Garth Ennis when we use Preacher and the Boys as like the comp titles for what he's done. But it's a great story of just like this one guy trying to like take out these monsters, and a great way to talk about how Hollywood is filled with monsters who make terrible decisions and do bad things to people and cover it all up. That is what Garth Ennis is trying to say in this book. And like, it's not even hidden. He like literally just says it like multiple times. It's definitely a great read in that capacity. And again, you've got that same like kind of crass humor that and storytelling that Garth Ennis has become known for over the course of time. But definitely a lot to say from Garth on that. All right, we've got 3 picks of the week as usual. Up first is String Number 2 from Mad Cave. Look, I love this book. I know I made issue 1 a pick of the week, and I try not to go immediately like back to it with issue 2, but the more I read of this book, the more I love it, and you do too. So many of you have come in and picked up this book and like keep loving it. If you didn't read String Number 1, basically this is about a a girl who has the ability to see the strings that connect people, but only two different kinds. One is a blue string that connects people who have slept together or possibly like could sleep together. And two is the black strings, which represent murder and possible murders between people. Like, you're either going to be killed by somebody or that person has like killed you. Or has killed somebody. And so she sees these strings. She works with the police department as well as other entities, which we learn in this issue, to figure out murders and investigations and investigate murders and relationships between people. Well, she, in issue 1, was teamed up with a new detective, and they've kind of created a really interesting dynamic of a friendship that's working really well for the story. And at the end of issue 1, when she's in her house on her own, she suddenly finds herself covered with a black string. And she's like, oh my God. And so she goes out and gets the detective and is like, hey, we have to figure this out. I have a black string around me, but it is actually a future black string. I think somebody is going to kill me. And I don't know who it is. I can't find the other end of the string. Like, I need your assistance. And so now they're on an investigation to figure out who's going to kill her. But it turns out lots of people could want to kill her because of all of the connections that she sees between people and the different things she's done. And so we get to see a lot of different people, a lot of things that she does. Great world building, excellent character development, just taking an awesome concept and continuing to build it out. And it's Paul Tobin. I love Paul Tobin's storytelling skills. It's not surprising that it's fantastic and that it's going to just continue to do that and be so great. And now Mad Cave and Paul Tobin together, it's exactly what I want in a pick of the week. So check it out. I have to order more. I do, because we're always out of it. I know. I need to get more. Missing on the Moon, issue 1, also from Mad Cave. Also a Santiago Saturday pick of the week. And Santiago and I spent a long time talking about this book today because we're both very excited about it. That should give you all the reason alone right there. That's it. I'm not even going to talk about the book. You just know that we both like it, so no. But this is, it's a great start of a huge universe. This is about a man who is working as a detective on Mars. We've built out a world on Mars where we already have slums. There's like different cities and different parts of cities have become where they just like jettison drug dealers and problematic people essentially. And a ruling governing party comes to this detective and is like, hey, the richest billionaire on Mars, his daughter has gone missing and you have to find her and you have to figure out what's going on and you need to be discreet about it. And he goes on this massive investigation that makes no sense. And in the process of it, he gets attacked by some people, and it's like, he wakes up and is like, what happened? Like, what is going on? And it's like, it turns out this is a way bigger situation than we thought of. You've got to figure this out now. Like, the whole world is going to come crumbling down if you don't piece together this mystery and put it at the top of your, your agenda. He's got his own dark demons, though. This character, we get literally like one panel where the guy's like, you above all people should and he kind of just stops. And you get this beautiful, like, one-piece artwork in the background panel that has no words in it. That is, like, everything you need to know about the demons that are haunting this exact man. We learn all we need to know about this society. We get a map of how we built out the colony of Mars. We learn how, why, everything. And we get this timeline that goes through the back of the book, which is what Santiago and I geeked out about all day. That tells you who colonized Mars and how, like, America kind of stepped in and stole it and all of the things that they did to build out this world. And leading up to where we are now, which is actually 1997 on Mars. It's such a good book. There's so much to it. Detectives in space. All kinds of great stuff. Mad Cave, you're killing it. Like, it's 2024. It's the year of Mad Cave, apparently. It's been so good. And lastly, I told you, I brought a Christmas book for the Christmas season, because that's today. Rockefellers, issue 2 from Image and the Ghost Machine imprint. And the fantastic team of Pete Tomasi and Francis Manipul. If you're a fan of DC Comics and Super Sons or anything, you're going to want to read these two working together on this book. But this is about a family, the Rockefellers, who are from the future, and have to escape some people who are chasing after them, and so they go to the past. This right here, this panel. So I have to say, the Ghost Machine universe, everybody always says, is there a possibility in any capacity that there could ever be some sort of crossover between anything in the Ghost Machine universe? Here it is. This is your look at how that could possibly happen, because this is the entirety of the Ghost Machine universe. The people who are hunting down the Rockefellers are like, we need to look out at all the different like multiverses that we could go to, and they see all of the Ghost Machine world, and it is just so cool looking. But then we go back to just like the Rockefellers, who their back in time is our time because they're from the future, and this cute family is trying to salvage Christmas, which is something that they haven't set up for. Because their world was turned upside down by being sent back in time, and they thought like maybe they were going to get to go home. And it kind of meant a lot to me to read this book, because we're in a place right now where, you know, our community has had this upheaval, and so many people have come in and said, I'm not even ready for Christmas. I haven't even decorated. I haven't even started. And it kind of, that's where this book started out, was this family feeling like it can't be Christmas. And, cause they've lost so many people and so many things. And, so they each kind of try to build Christmas because they don't believe in like cutting down trees, and they realize that that's what we do in our time period. So they like panic and like don't want to cut down trees. So like the dad has to figure out how to like scientifically grow the tree, and the little girl is remembering you know, a family member lost with her grandpa. They're having to try to figure out how they can incorporate them into the first Christmas without them, and the brother's trying to give them a way to feel like this is their home, and mom's just kind of trying to hold it all together like moms do on every holiday. And then of course you just get the family hijinks, because the Christmas tree, dad accidentally grows it a little too much and things keep happening, and it's just adorable family fun. It really is something that anybody of any age you could share with, like, you know, kids as young as like 7. It's just a happy Christmas story. And a great, again, we're just setting up a great story for the Rockefeller family as this book continues to build. And Ghost Machine continues to just have an awesome lineup of books. And, this is going to be like the most, family friendly probably of them all. And I love it. And man, that quality of that cover, those Ghost Machine covers just have some great paper stock. Love it. It's just so nice to see. All right, that's the books. I'm going to slide these over. There's a couple other things in stock this week. TVA, instead of having a timeless series or a timeless one-shot this year, we launched a TVA book this year. If you didn't grab that, there's still some available. Milestone is back with the Shadow Cabinet, and this is issue 2 of 4, of DC's Milestone World. Psylocke back with issue 2. We've got Plastic Man No More issue 4, which I believe might be the end. Yeah, question mark. So maybe we'll see some more. We've got Jenny Sparks hitting issue 5 this week. Tom King writing that story. We've got Conquest 2099 issue 5, which should also be the end of that, I believe. We've got Alligator Loki having a holiday special. It's super cute. And in February, just so you guys know, there is a Marvel Mutts book coming out. So get that on your radar now, all you dog lovers and all you super Marvel pet fans. Absolute Batman issue 3 is out this week, as is Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns issue 4. And Batman and Robin Year 1 issue 2. Yeah, 3. Issue 3. Which everybody is really loving that series too. Captain America hit issue 16. Catwoman hit issue 71. We relaunched Challengers of the Unknown this week at DC. Christopher Cantwell writing that, so you know there's going to be a lot going on in that story. I'm really excited to read it. Dark Knights of Steel All Winter issue 6. Deadpool number 9. We're still seeing Deadpool's daughter kind of running the show there. Daredevil issue 16. Fantastic Four is back with issue 27. We were on a little bit of a hiatus there for a minute. The Question issue 2. We've got Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger issue 1 from Spawn. Somebody asked how many issues this is going to be. It does say issue 2 comes out in January. I want to say it's a 4-part series, but don't quote me on that. We've got Kingspawn issue 40, Miles Morales issue 26. We had a beautiful wedding in Star Wars High Republic Adventures and a nice one-shot for that. So definitely check that out if you're a Star Wars fan. Absolute Superman #1 second print is out. So if you didn't get a chance to do that, and if you didn't know, Absolute Superman #2 is also out. We've got Star Wars Ahsoka issue 5 and the Ewoks on issue 3. Is that Steve Orlando writing an Ewok series? That's fantastic. We've got Titans issue 18 out this week and the launch of Helverine with issue 1. If you caught that Helverine like one shot earlier this year, now you've got some more Helverine going on. Sentinels issue 3 and Immortal Thor issue 18. Love seeing Jane Foster on the cover. We've got some graphic novels in stock. This is Yellow from Dark Horse. It's When Law and Order is All But Gone, Would You Rise Above or Fall to Your Basic Instincts? It's a second Civil War and people having to make the decision on, are they going to be for the people or for the people who are telling them what to do. I'm really excited to read this book. It had a lot of great notes on it when I was ordering it. Cult of the Lamb Volume 1 is out. If you need some adorable fun in your life, this is all based on the video game, but just a fun read for anybody who wants to see a little lamb come back and seek revenge on the people that harmed him. The Way of the Penguins is out from Fantagraphics. This is just super cute. This is the third collection of the most delightful depiction of children and their fantasies since Calvin and Hobbes is what it is called. And just to show you some cuteness inside of it, like, and what it looks like, just to give you a little insight into the Way of the Penguin so you can see it. Fantagraphics always makes such pretty, beautiful books. And if you hopefully do not spoil this in the comments when I say it, but if you watched the Superman trailer this week and you're really excited, just a reminder that there is a $9.99 DC compact version of All-Star Superman, which is, what James Gunn said is one of his inspirations for the thing. So if you are excited about it and you want to start catching up and reading some of your Superman, now's the time to do that. Grab this $9.99 edition. Fits in your backpack, your purse, your lounge fly, for everywhere you want to go. That is all we have for you. Just so you know, this week, New Comic Book Day is going to be Thursday, December 26th, because comic book stores nationwide, for the most part, are going to be closed, including Bat City. We are not open for Christmas. We hope that you find a way to celebrate and have a wonderful holiday. There are no events this weekend going on at Bat City because it's, time for hanging out with friends and family and celebrating. We will be open, like I said, Thursday the 26th for New Comic Book Day, as well as the rest of the weekend, regular hours, 11 to 8 Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and 11 to 7 on Sundays. There's going to be new comics. It's going to be great. We're going to be back here next weekend to talk about all of them, and hopefully we'll see you around the shop on Thursday for New Comic Book Day. Again, thank you to the Cost family and all of our incredible creator friends that sent us gifts this week. Happy holidays to everybody, and cheers to you. Happy reading and Merry Christmas.